Is it weird I still get a kick of talking about Godzilla Minus One any chance I can? And I mean, this video is not supposed to be a video where I rip on either movie, and not really to compare them both as how well they're made, but more the power of Godzilla, which I'm doing basically what everyone else is not doing. You're welcome. And yes, I know that American Godzilla is much larger than Godzilla Minus One's depiction of Godzilla, but I think there is a debate on both of their pros and cons when they try to take down a city or fight an enslaved kaiju locked away by a psychopathic ape king who has an underground of other apes that work for him. Anyways, there will be spoilers for both of these movies, and although you can't watch Godzilla Minus One right now, you can always save this video for later in a playlist. I have also gained the word that promoting my channel and my videos is a good idea. So if you like what I made and want to support me, leave a like or even comment if you have any tips or suggestions for videos in the future. And if you really want to maybe subscribe if you're feeling generous today, go ahead and do that. You can come back and watch any of my videos later. Enjoy the video, and please release Godzilla Minus One for digital, please. By the way, at the very end of this video, I'll actually be analyzing which of these two kaijus would actually win in a fight. So if you're interested in that, stick around till the very end. So in my first video I did where I was comparing Godzillas, I talked about the movie mostly. So now I want to specifically talk about Godzilla, and Godzilla only, instead of talking about the quality of the human story or any other factors like that. The reason is because I actually like both of these movies, but I do have a bias towards Godzilla Minus One, to be completely honest, and I must admit that I don't think it's right to compare these two movies on a critical level because they're way too different of Godzilla movies. So in this one, I will not be saying one is better than the other, but just comparing, that's it. So let's begin with the element of evolution. Now, before we get to what you're probably here for, which is the atomic breath, let's talk about how in both these movies Godzilla evolves in one way or another. So let's talk about Minus One first, and some people probably won't remember this part of when he evolves, but it is established in the very beginning of the movie that Godzilla is not in his full self yet, as he can mostly be compared to a dinosaur as he stomps onto the shore and goes against the soldiers. But when America is testing out their new bombs, they nuke the area Godzilla is in, which is the reason why he is much more powerful. But in the new Empire, Godzilla's evolution is something he does himself, and wasn't at the sake of someone else causing this, but is his choice, and his choice only because he fears the threat of the Scar King and Shimo. Now, it's for Godzilla's purpose the entire time. Godzilla exists because of the sake of others using wrong things, but only creating something much worse, and that is something established in Godzilla 2014 and Minus One. So in a way, it's really interesting to see that Godzilla makes his own evolution happen to himself. But obviously, he is doing this out of protection for Earth, while Godzilla Minus One shows Godzilla evolving as the repercussions of the thing America released, and is also a direct relation to the atomic bomb. So it's really interesting to see how different these two versions of Godzilla are, yet makes them both really unique. Moving on to another big comparison is their size, and this will basically lead into the big part of the video, which is the atomic breath part. So anyways, I don't know about you, but going back to Godzilla 2014, Godzilla looked much larger, but it does make sense why he's smaller, because they don't want him to be too gigantic that Kong and other kaijus don't stand a chance against him. But I've seen comparisons of these two that is pretty funny, because legendary Godzilla is twice the size of Godzilla Minus One. But the cool thing is how these movies, although being a different size, make the kaiju feel huge. Since Godzilla Minus One is knocking buildings down left and right by swinging his tail, and in the new Empire, Godzilla is slouching and is almost as tall as every single building in Rio. And may I just say, the ways these two movies tackle height and making it really feel like they're huge is something that can be applauded. Not all the time does the new Empire feel like height is there, but when compared to the buildings, their sizes is definitely shown, and it does make sense the scale doesn't match as well when they're in a cave, not being compared to any other human-made buildings or anything. So yes, legendary Godzilla is taller, duh, but what about the destruction they cause? Now, although I am more of a fan of Minus One than the New Empire, I would like to propose the idea that these two creatures may almost be as powerful as each other. And I know that's insane for me to say, because Godzilla from the New Empire literally gathered his energy from the sun to become much stronger, But may I just say that Godzilla in -1 decimated an entire city and nuked it all, while Godzilla in the New Empire, while being helped by 3 other kaijus, was able to decimate a whole city. So it's kind of interesting to think which of their atomic breath is more powerful, because -1's causes a nuclear blast as soon as it impacts, but legendary Godzilla is practically a beam that slices through everything in its path, kind of like how Shin Godzilla's worked in his movie. Now, this really fun part is how different these 2 atomic breaths are, as legendary Godzilla has a ray that slices through everything in its path and doesn't have to recharge his power every time he uses it. While, on the other hand, -1's has to recharge and causes a nuclear blast, and although these 2 different versions do different things with their atomic breath, the same level of power and level of destruction can be applied to both of them, as they both have the power to destroy an entire city by themselves. I did have a fear when making this that people weren't going to like it, because people don't really like it when they compare legendary Godzilla to -1 Godzilla, because they're so different. And the thing is, I completely understand that. I've seen both of these movies, and I think they're both really good movies. I just prefer Godzilla -1, but that doesn't mean that I don't like The New Empire. I think it's a fun movie. Like, honestly, it's a fun movie. And basically, the message of this video was to say that The New Empire and -1 are 2 completely different movies and shouldn't be compared in terms of the movie itself. But this video is supposed to be a fun way of comparing the capabilities of the most 2 recent Godzillas. Okay, so now on to the big question of this video. Which of these 2 kaijus would win in a fight if they were put up against each other? This will hopefully please both Monsterverse fans and -1 fans, but let's take for example legendary Godzilla. The reason why he would win against -1 is if he got up close and personal, ripped his head open, and then shot his heat ray, it will probably most likely kill Godzilla from -1. But how exactly would Godzilla from -1 be able to win against legendary Godzilla, who's faster, who's bigger, and also seems to also have energy from the sun? This seems kind of impossible for him, but I think there is a way that he could actually do this. Now, the thing is that Godzilla from the New Empire can actually kind of do what Shin Godzilla would do, and that's basically slice through basically everything in his path. The thing is, though, Godzilla from -1 can cause an explosion. Although MonsterVerse Godzilla was able to survive an atomic bomb attack, I think the power of not only the atomic breath, but the atomic bomb might actually be able to kill legendary Godzilla. There's a very good chance that this could happen, because he was downed by Mechagodzilla's atomic breath, which was just probably a bit more powerful than his own. So an atomic breath that is more powerful and causes an atomic explosion is probably going to knock him down, probably for good. So the winner basically can be up to your interpretation, whichever version you like better and whichever one is more interesting. Thank you everybody for sticking around this long, if you even did. And basically, yeah, if you want to subscribe, go ahead and do that. That would be pretty cool, and that would actually be really kind, because I don't know about you, but basically not all of my videos do well, and there's a good chance that it's because YouTube doesn't really push them out. So if you actually want to basically support me, and you can actually come back to any new video and you will get notifications at them if you push the notification bell. So everybody, thank you everybody for watching. I'm Enchanted. Bye.
After the battle, masterless cattle, overlords hanging by a thread. With a bit of bravado, maybe tomorrow we'll be atop the heap. While the rest of us pissing, Alistair's missing, fled with his tail between his legs. Nature abhors the power vacuum that leaves room for you and me. The future of hell belongs to the V's.